Thank you for joining us today for California High-Speed Rail's request for expressions of interest for the domestic manufacture and supply of UIC60 Rail Industry Forum. My name is Melissa Figueroa. I will help lead you through today's presentation in conjunction with my colleagues from California High-Speed Rail Authority. We can go ahead and go to the first slide. Again, my name is Melissa. I'm going to go ahead and give you the project overview for our project shortly. I'll be followed by Bruce Armistead, our Chief of Rail Operations and Delivery. And then we'll be followed by Lisa Crowfoot, an attorney here for California High-Speed Rail. And then we will provide an opportunity for how to submit questions and resources that will be at your disposal. We can go ahead and go to the first slide. So here is a bit of information. And again, all of this information will be on our website too, but if you're taking notes, you want to visit Cal eProcure for additional information on this. Also, you can visit our website, hsr.ca.gov, click on business opportunities, and then underneath that, contract opportunities and track and systems would be the drop down there. The website there will include the industry forum video, PowerPoint presentation, registrant list, responses to questions, and then updates on the process. You can submit your questions to Rachel Wong on our procurements team at ts1@hsr.ca.gov. Those have to be received by August 15th at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. And then responses will be posted by August 18th, 2023. Then the next slide. So the request for expressions of interest process is, again, these expressions of interest are due by Monday, August 25th, 2023 at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. Please conduct all communications for this request for expressions of interest, RFEI, as you'll hear it referred to throughout this program, and submit all of those expressions of interest to the contact below, Rachel Wong, California High-Speed Rail Authority at 770 L Street, Suite 620 MS2, and the phone number is 916-324-1541. And the email address, again, ts1@hsr.ca.gov. Go to the next slide. So I'll be giving you a little bit of a program update on where we are for California's high-speed rail project and get you up to speed. Phase 1 of our project is 500 miles long between the cities of San Francisco in Northern California and Los Angeles and Anaheim in Southern California. After that, Phase 2, by statute, extends another 300 miles connecting the cities of Sacramento, here at our state capital in Northern California, and San Diego in Southern California. The system will travel at approximately 220 miles an hour in electrified fashion and have up to 24 stations throughout the first Phase 1 alignment. Phase 1 and Phase 2, apologies. Where we are today, 2023, we have 119 miles under construction. That's that yellow line you'll see in the middle of your screen there on the map. We have another 52 miles under advanced design north into Merced and south into Bakersfield. That'll take us to 171 miles total of construction and advanced design. We are working to environmentally clear all 500 miles between San Francisco and the Los Angeles basin. Currently, to date, we have about 422 of those 500 miles environmentally cleared. We are funding partners in the state of California with several projects, including the Caltrain electrification project in Northern California, the Los Angeles Union Station improvements, the Link US project, and the historic LA Union Station in Los Angeles, and then several grade separations in Northern and Southern California, some which have already been completed. We are also under station design for the first 4 Central Valley stations. Those are Merced, Fresno, Kings Tulare, and Bakersfield in the Central Valley. And we also have a memorandum of understanding with Brightline West. That's the privately funded project in Southern California that will go into Las Vegas. Next slide. There are some upcoming milestones to be aware of that are happening with our project. We expect to complete the first Central Valley construction segment. We refer to that as CP4, Construction Package 4, late summer of this year. We are working to have the draft environmental impact report and impact statement issued in late 2023 from Burbank to Palmdale in Southern California. We are, again, funding partners in the Caltrain electrification project, and that is anticipated to be complete in late 2024. The Rosecrans Marquardt grade separation in Southern California, for which we're also a funding partner, is expected to be complete in 2024 as well. And we are continuing to advance station design of our first 4 Central Valley stations. That contract was awarded last year. Next slide. To date, we have created more than 11,000 labor jobs since project began construction. Those are men and women working in the trades in the Central Valley. We dispatch anywhere between 1,000 to about 1,300 workers a day on those job sites at 34 different construction sites in the valley. About 70% of those workers come from disadvantaged communities. We have 761 small businesses employed on the project, 259 are disadvantaged business enterprises, excuse me, 92 are disabled veteran business enterprises. We are leading the efforts in sustainability while in construction and in the future when we're in operations. We will run on 100% renewable energy. We are currently using Tier 4 equipment in construction, and it's anticipated that we will reduce VMT by taking about 400,000 cars off the road annually when we're in operation. Next slide. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Bruce Armstead, our Chief of Rail Operations and Delivery, for the next portion of our presentation. Bruce.
Thank you, Melissa. I'm going to walk through the building the system. Our California High-Speed Rail system will be a certified railroad that is ready for passenger service from Merced to Bakersfield. We currently, as was mentioned by Melissa, have 119 miles on active civil construction. Tracking systems contractors will follow the civils along with train set certification facility, and a light maintenance facility. Today's topic is the domestic manufacture of the UIC60 rail. As rail is recognized as a long lead item, the authority is developing strategies to ensure that a supply of rail is available as the completion of the 3 civil packages are happening. The authority is seeking partner firms that can participate in the supply contracts for the UIC60 rail manufactured here in the United States. Next slide, please. This authority intends to procure track materials that are compliant with the EU standards. A little bit about the EU regulatory approach. In the past, each of the 27 countries had set its own railroad standards and regulations. For example, a train designed and certified for operation in Germany would not necessarily be certified to operate in France. Subsequently, in around the 90s, the EU developed standards and regulations and a formal process that allowed for the interoperability throughout the EU. That included technical specifications for interoperability and the European standards, the ENs or European normative. The technical specifications defining the requirements for products, production processes, services, and test methods, ensuring interoperability and safety. And one of the European normatives is listed there, which applies to rail applications along with including track and rail. Recognizing the extraordinary safety record of international high-speed travel, we seek to leverage the service-proven technologies, materials, and processes here on our project. Next slide, please. FRA approach in Tier 3 compliance is to certify a railroad in Tier 3. The FRA has developed a suite of regulations which are considered rules of general applicability. These are primarily design-based regulations that universally apply to all railroads. The published rules reference international standards that the railroads may choose to comply with the appropriate objective evidence and rationale provided to support our safety case. Buy America compliance, CHSR, will be 100% compliant with the FRA's Buy America Act. Next slide, please. A rail manufacturing and testing facility or facilities located in the United States, we need our railroad provider to be located in the United States. If the entity is not currently a rail provider, then include a date by which the entity could become a provider. You have to be, is, or will become capable of manufacturing and testing to the requirements of the European normative shown there in the USA from R260 steel produced in the USA, current or future capability. You have to be or will become capable of producing the rail profile shown there. They are UIC60, E1, and E2 profile. A rail manufacturing facility that is or will become producing long lengths of rail. For example, we'd like for you to be able to produce 1,300 foot or greater lengths of rail. A manufacturing facility that will be or capable of becoming ISO 9001 certified. So those are some of the attributes of the rail provider that we're looking for. Next slide, please. Quantities. These are some of the quantities and the rail delivery dates that we expect to start delivering the quantities. Merced to Madera, Q1 in 2028, and that order will be approximately 14,000 metric tons of rail. Similarly, CP1 in 2026, 12,000 metric tons, and CP23 north, CP23 south, the tonnages and dates that you see there. And CP4, which is the southernmost of our 119 miles, the civil package, is about 8,000 metric tons, 9,000, 8,700 metric tons of rail. And the LGA, which is south of that, is 7,800. So the 119 miles is comprised of the CP packages that you see 1 through 4, with Merced to Madera and the LGA following closely behind that. Again, all dates and quantities are approximate and they're subject to change. So this totals roughly 69,000 or 70,000 metric tons of rail. So that would be the full order for the entire 171 mile segment that we would be certifying for passenger service. Next slide, please. And at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Lisa Crowfoot, who will talk about organizational conflicts of interest. Lisa.
Thank you, Bruce. Let's go to the next slide, please. This is an RFEI only, and it's not a procurement. However, given the globalization in this space, we wanted to let everyone know that there are some limitations that apply to entities that enter into contracts with the authority. So anyone entering into a contract with the authority in the future for this work must comply with the following commercial considerations in the state of California. One is that responding entities shall not be the subject of economic sanctions related to California Executive Order N622 regarding economic sanctions against Russia and Russian entities and individuals. 2 is that responding entities shall not be identified on a list created by the Department of General Services in California pursuant to Section 2203B of the California Public Contract Code regarding the Iran contracting certification. And lastly, responding entities shall not be scrutinized companies as defined in California Public Contract Code, Section 10476, regarding the Darfur Contracting Act certification. Thank you. Next slide. Questions regarding this RFEI and the future procurement can be emailed to the email stated here. It's in this slide in several places. It's also on the RFEI documentation. And responses to questions, registration list, industry forum video, and the PowerPoint that you're seeing here today, and all other updates will be posted on the authority's webpage that's also included in this PowerPoint, but also in the RFEI documentation as well. And with that, that concludes our presentation today. Thank you very much for joining us and for your interest in this program.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time.